biggest part of my teaching philosophy is to try to teach students to tolerate ambiguity. I like them to be comfortable with open-ended questions and with questions for which there are no answers.
I mean, the thing is that there are some students that really learn a lot by example. There are certain students that like to have some theory. And the thing is that you have to try to reach out to all of your students, not just to, one or two, or to kind of half the class. You try to reach out to the entire class.
The first time I can remember realizing that I definitely wanted to be a teacher was when I had to tutor a student in 7th grade. I was also in 7th grade at the time, and I was not a big fan of this student. And at first it was such a burden on me, but as I began to work with her, I realized, despite not liking her as a person, I really enjoyed watching her learn.
I plant seeds, so teachers are like gardeners to me. They're mentors. Teachers are always bringing in ideas for students to think about and to reflect upon.
My philosophy on teaching is to have high standards for my students, to help them learn to do things that they thought they couldn't do. I usually do it by introducing things to them incrementally and with lots of repetition.
My teaching philosophy is I believe that every student can be successful if I can guide them or help them through the process, and I believe in their ability to be successful.
I don't know that I have a philosophy just for teaching. I see the work I do, the work that we all do together, the thinking, discussing, making decisions based on what that particular discipline can offer, and what that discipline offers in dialogue with others. In a classroom we have set topics we look at in discussions and decisions, but new information and new wisdom comes out of that.
I think Central's biggest strength is definitely its students. A lot of the students I teach here tell me that they are first-generation college students, and there's a lot of anxiety about that. And I can identify with those students very easily. It's one of the reasons I feel I connect with them as well as I do, because I am a first-generation college graduate. But I love that about Central's undergraduates, that they are unpretentious and naturally inquisitive, and they take very little for granted, and I really respond to that as an instructor.
The students here are working class kids predominantly, and the ones that are here to take education seriously, to internalize what they're learning, to transform themselves, and to change. It's a pleasure to have them in class, and those are the students that I teach to, generally speaking, in my mind. That's where my radar is basically focused, and it's wonderful to see what they do given the fact of the jobs that they have, given the obligations they have for family and taking care of family and siblings. That's very important to me because I see myself in a lot of them.
The students here don't see themselves as being owed anything. They take instruction well, and they believe it. They believe me when I say, if you work really hard at this, that you can learn it. But that it's sometimes a slow process, and they have the patience to work diligently at something.
When I was a student, I saw Central's greatest strength as its teachers. I came as a post-baccalaureate student, so I already had an undergrad degree, and yet I was in classes with a lot of undergrads still because it wasn't a master's program. And I just found that the professors were so great at differentiating their instruction for the needs of their students based on the levels that they were at.
Of course, our students, I mean, that's really a big strength. I mean, I've seen so many of our students who, started at CCSU with, a math background that might have been considered a little bit weaker, and eventually they ended up taking, a lot more math courses than they would even have thought, or in some cases even, end up being math majors. But even for the ones that, that don't become math majors, I mean, I've had lots of very positive interactions with them as well.
Another strength is that CCSU produces a lot of teachers, and teachers, I believe, are the strongest asset for any society, and I believe we produce good teachers.
It's the major teaching state university We work with people who are planning to make their homes and their careers here. So, you know, for me and for my colleagues and for my students, what we learn here matters very, very directly. What we learn here, what we practice here, what we create here is going to have a direct impact. So I think that's one of the big strengths, is its place-basedness.
I was extremely excited to find out that I was a finalist. I haven't reached this high in the hierarchy yet, so I was excited. And I'm with some really fine people. I can't say that enough. It's exciting to be considered a good teacher. It's just something you carry around with you. I don't think you explain it well to anyone else. I think teaching is a very personal and private endeavor that's made public in the classroom.
But just because Othello hears his own words echoed back to him. It's a great honor. Obviously, it's a great feeling to know that you've been nominated, first of all, that one of your students thought enough about their experience in your course to actually write about it and share it with other people. Now that I've gotten to know some of the faculty who are judges, who came in and sat in my room, and it's made me feel like part of a larger community, one that's always been here, but that maybe as a part-timer I didn't feel as plugged into. And I really feel a part of the larger central community now.
It's definitely a recognition that we have a lot of really outstanding teachers on this campus. And it's always really great to participate in this kind of a competition. And it's also really great to be able to interact with the other finalists.
First of all, such an honor to have been nominated by a student, because that had to be recognized on that level. And it's something that they could pass up so easily. You know, I'm not sure how it happens. I imagine they get some sort of email or announcement, hey, do you want to nominate anyone? And the fact that someone even took the time to think, oh, you know what, I'll put Professor Greenwell in, that's just very humbling for me.
It's nice to have colleagues who look at the letters and look at my files and say, oh, she looks good to us. But it's even more gratifying that students take the time. I mean, they have to sit down and they have to write the letter, and that's extraordinarily gratifying, because it means that even though they've had to work hard, that they know that they've learned that there has been good teaching going on in the classroom. And where there's good teaching, then there's been good learning.
Although I try my best to help my students in teaching and also try to understand them, I also notice there's this big barrier. There can always be the big barrier, because I'm not really educated in the United States, and also English is not my native language. So as a result, I always have these thoughts in my mind that what can I do in order to help my students and understand them better? And from that background, I guess, I was really shocked that my teaching was appreciated by other people. Yeah.
I suggested to the committee, said, you know, the strength of the Excellence in Teaching process is that it's not the Teacher of the Year award. It holds up all different kinds of ways of being an excellent teacher, because that's what we demonstrate here at Central. And wouldn't it be great, and wouldn't it be less work for you if you just said all 10 could be, the finalists or the winners of the award? It would be a 10-person Excellence in Teaching award, plus you'd have your committee for the next year. I don't know if they chose that or not.
To not think that teaching is significant misses the point of what higher education is about. Any student that has been in higher education has been moved along and supported and tweaked and pushed by a professor that knew his or her material, and a professor that wanted to give his or her knowledge to the student so that student could succeed.
I want to try to be always there for my students. I mean, of course I can't be there all the time. The thing is that they really should feel that they're not alone in the sea of mathematical concept.
The achievement that I see in all of my courses, I feel very proud of them, and that's probably keeps me working here.
The greatest moments as a teacher often come when I'm not teaching. I think there's so much grunt work involved in teaching sometimes that you find these moments more in recollection and in reflection, and when students reach out to you later on. And that, I think, makes it all worth it.
I love my department. Really love the students I get to work with. We have a lot of diversity. It's an exciting, buzz-filled place to be.
As teachers, we also have to be learners all the time, and it's one of the things I've liked about Central is that it recognizes me both as a teacher and as a learner.
I think my students are growing up in an age when they can Google a question online and get any one of a dozen instantaneous answers. And I think one of my biggest challenges is to teach them that the quickest answers aren't always correct. I want them to stay inquisitive and continue to question even after my class is over.